Hello, folks. We're gonna go talk to Monique with
Come smell my dirt.
Loco for Coco.
How are you doing today? How are you doing today?
Doing good. Good morning.
Fantastic.
This is the Green Man here with Monique at Loco for Coco, and you've got the coconut coir.
Coconut coir. That's what it's known primarily in the industry. It has all kinds of names that you'll find on different soil companies. Pith is one. Fibre, believe it or not, we're doing some backward spelling on that one. It's Fibre. So pith, of course, P-I-T-C-H, pith, P-I-T-H. Early morning, still need that coffee. But what it does is actually, it's the outside husk of a coconut. And this here, of course, is what we think of as when we think of a coconut here in the United States. And I got this little puppy cut off. So inside here is where the milk, sugar, water, flour, all that fun stuff that we're after. The reality, though, is that this is actually just a small smidgen compared to the real coconut. So all of that extra housing or husk, it's coir in the industry. So this is what we have here. We have two different variations. I actually do have three available, but I do sell these two because primarily these ones are what's asked for and requested.
So this one's like chunkier and bigger, and that's fine. So why is that one chunky and that one's fine?
This right here is considered the chip, and I'll show you here in just a minute on why this guy is so crazy. So this here, we're looking at, you can see these parts here. This right here actually is a true husk of a coconut. So when you look at it, of course, that's what we, see and going to Hawaii, Sri Lanka, where I get my product from. And as the strands come through, you see these long fibers. This is what's known as the fibre. So that's why it all kind of changes names. But at the end of it, it's still coir. So your rope, just like your twine here on the sign that I have up there at the end, that's actually typically made with coconut fibre and jute, or a combination thereof. Lots of things, your friend's mat that you go over to their house, also the same thing, they have that.
Oh, the welcome mats, like when you walk in the door and you wipe off your feet.
Exactly, you got it. Look at you, Green Man. All right, so this is what it does. Now that we've got that piece, you can see all that water that it's holding on to.
Wow, it's all dripping out of that little tiny.
And check this out. This is even smaller, right? Doesn't think of anything. There we go.
That's amazing. And then it's antimicrobial and all that, so you don't get mold. It can stay wet.
Yes. And what happens is that your roots will actually get inside of here and they find that water source. So they'll actually grab a hold of this. So you can actually plant more plants in a smaller area. So what I have here, these are the 4-ounce bags. Each one of these bowls represents that 4-ounce bag of the product. So we get them, put some nice warm water in there. Like this here also, the peat. Same thing, really light, right? Check this puppy out. This is the magic show of it all.
Whoa, that's like a whole cup of water in that little palm of your hand.
Sure is, yeah. And if you go through it all, you can see here on the bottom, that's our really, really magic show that it's doing with it, because you wouldn't think that that's what it's holding on to. But in reality, that's exactly what it's doing.
So in the Arizona climate, we obviously really need to retain as much water as we want. Or as we can. We don't want it to evaporate out of the soil very quickly.
Correct. So I'm going to show you over here with this lady slipper that I brought today, and why it's very important to use the different processes with each one. If you want to take a look at it, she looks really dry, right? There's nothing going on. Well, this is used as the topsoil portion, which is the chip. If you hide this away, look how wet it is inside. So what happens is that the sun will break this down, and that's going to be your barrier between the sun and also your actual dirt, if you will, but it's the coir itself. So that's why you want to use that within it, so it actually mitigates the sun's evaporation rate. And what you'll see is you'll see all these little pups that are in here too.
Hey, we got a question.
Yes.
What kind of question? Who do you got a question?
We have a question from Terry. He's wondering if you can use that to grow orchids.
Absolutely. If you go online, I actually did a presentation with the Orchid Society. They are hosted once a month. I did it at the end of last year, and you can see how lively that presentation was that was on there. But absolutely, the orchids in particular, they like the chip. The reason being is that the chip actually, as thick and crunchy as it is, and orchids, because they're a terrestrial plant, their hair fibers like to go out and they like water. They just don't like it given to them all at the same time like what we normally would do.
Oh, so it retains it, so it doesn't shock with too much water into the orchids. Because I know, yeah, you have to be really gentle watering orchids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what you can also do with that, you can actually use perlite or you can use a vermiculite also. And that will also keep that moisture inside of it. And then by far, worm castings. This is the mecca of happiness. This one I actually got from Organics Alive, and I repackaged them to be 1 pound each. And as you can see with worm castings, the beauty of them is it's 100% organic, and look how arid that is. This guy right here is going to keep your soil so happy, and it's all the vitamins and minerals that you're going to need to create healthy, very warm environmental areas for your plants.
So let me ask you a question. So with this, you would take some potting soil mixed with worm castings and some coconut coir, and then you put the chips on top.
You can absolutely do that, and I did that actually in my newest garden, which is a 9x9. I'm crazy in my gardens, let me tell you. We're running out of room for the dogs.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
More food for people.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, we got another question, too. All right, you wanted to? Okay.
Yeah, so someone is asking if we can use it for bonsai trees as well?
Yes, absolutely. It's the same concept with it, just like orchids. Bonsai likes to have their little bit of moisture. What you'll see with bonsai is they typically use what's called sphagnum peat moss, and they also have a Canadian peat moss. The problem with it is that peat moss is actually grown in bogs. It's estimated that a bog to replenish itself is 220 years. So it's very unsustainable.
These grow fast.
Yes. These, on the other hand, is actually a byproduct of the coconut industry, because everyone does want the sugar, the meat, the flour, the water, the oil, all that fun stuff that is in the middle of this guy, which is in here. That's what we here in the United States think of a coconut. And ironically, just to kind of throw it out there, trivia question, actually coconuts kill more people annually than sharks.
Holy crap, because they fall on their heads and crack their skull. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad fact, but we're all so when you look at Shark Week, be careful of the coconut that's around you, because that one's a little bit more scarier.
Wow, this is so great. Another one? Okay.
We have a comment from one of our viewers, and he says you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yay. Well, you're awesome too. I appreciate you coming in and letting me know that.
This is so great. You did a great job. I love this stuff. Now that you just sold me on it. I've been really wanting to use it. I think it's really expensive when you think of it, when you see it first, but then you realize all the benefits, and you don't need to use a ton of it. It's just in there. You're mixing it, like you said, like you would if you bought a bag of perlite or vermiculite and things like that.
Well, and it does seem expensive. And I'll be honest with you, my entire format for my business was to make it as inexpensive as possible and to give it to mom and pop. So you'll see over here, Pro Coco, they're my suppliers. What happened was I started working for them because I was looking for the coconut and found it at my sister's moving and warehouse company in Tucson. There was a pallet of it and I just went absolutely bonkers crazy. So I did the whole business concept as far as, what we were looking to go into. They're based out of Tucson, and they didn't have anyone here representing them in the Phoenix market. So that's how I got into it.
Now, how much is this bag of 4 ounces of the chips?
4 cost of either or is $2. I do it a straight across price to make it as easy as possible.
That's great. Yeah, it's like kind of like a risk-free way to try this stuff out and see if you like it.
The other reason that I found is because people that live in apartments, townhouses, condos, or they have just a little bit of area or just the house plants and they're really not sure to get into it. That's why I have these guys available for you. So I sell them for $2 each or 3 for $5. Now the big puppy is these here. You can pick these up. They're not exactly light, but I'll let you do that.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, this will actually cover you approximately 2.5 cubic feet worth, believe it or not.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so you figure this right here is just a minimal portion of what you're getting out of this guy. These guys, I sell them for $16.25. That's straightforward, either chip or that of the...
That is the cheapest I've seen it.
Yes.
I've never seen it that cheap, guys. You're my new. I'm coming to you.
Thank you.
I'm working on a couple more beds. I'm gonna get ready in January, so I'm hitting you up. But we gotta go. We got one more person to do. We're running out of time.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I love hugs.
Hey,
Awesome.
and that's why I'm the elf, because I try to help people.
Yeah, you are. You're a total helper. That's so great. Thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah.
Take care.